The number of products that we have that are made out of rubber today are almost uncountable. Rubber is vitally important. It changed the world in ways that I don't think most people today really recognize.
The development of modern rubber was one of those kind of untold stories of the Industrial Revolution. The problem with rubber is in its natural form, it's very unstable. If it gets too hot, it pretty much dissolves into a puddle. If it gets too cold, it gets very rigid, and it breaks down quickly. So the key to rubber becoming a vital part of the Industrial Revolution was this process of vulcanization that was developed by a couple of different people, but Goodyear was one of the key people to refine it.
Goodyear's one of those interesting kind of eccentrics in America that's absolutely dogged by a single idea. He kept looking for a way to turn rubber into a commodity that could be used. And what he stumbled on was a process of adding sulfur to it.
What Goodyear discovered is if you take natural latex and you add some sulfur and you heat it, the sulfur mixes with the rubber and changes its properties dramatically.
By adding sulfur to the rubber, it held its characteristics during the summer as well as during the winter. And for the first time, we had a commodity that we can use.
The reason this is so important is the Industrial Revolution is full of machines. Rubber would give you the seals in those engines, the gaskets, to let these machines work for long periods of time without breaking down.
With the invention of vulcanization of rubber, all things associated with rubber increase in value. Rubber trees, rubber plantations. But in order to extract this wealth, it requires an enormous amount of human labor.
The craze for rubber led to a great deal of environmental damage and human oppression, as some of these colonies organized around rubber extraction were run in the most brutal fashion possible. And it led to some of the worst excesses of the colonial period, especially in Africa.
Rubber was so vital to so many of the industrial powers that it became protected. It became an issue of national security for some countries as they were expanding beyond their borders. Rubber becomes this highly critical component from an industrial standpoint to allow us to move beyond our limits.